Day 102 of our journey through the Bible. You'll notice there is an outline of the book of Proverbs that is underneath this video. Notice that, like the book of Psalms, it is divided also into 5 books or sections. These sections have many powerful truths in them. Proverbs has 31 chapters, which makes it very handy, particularly for a family, to use it for their devotions. Just whatever the day of the month it is, you read that chapter in Proverbs. Many families have been blessed by this and read Proverbs over and over and over again, filling their children with great truth and wisdom early on. Notice in the outline for Proverbs that some portions are provided by other writers, such as Agur and King Lemuel. Although Solomon wrote a major portion of Proverbs, he didn't write the entire book. He wrote the basic core of Proverbs, but added some writings from other sources, giving the credit to those writers. Another interesting fact about this book and its writings is that the second collection of Proverbs attributed to Solomon, chapters 25 through 29, were not added to the book until more than 200 years after Solomon's death. The heading over this material in chapter 25 reads, "These are the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied." It seems likely that these writings of Solomon were not discovered and inserted into the book until Hezekiah's time. In its original version, the book must have been written and compiled by Solomon sometime during his reign from 971 BC to 931. Then, about 720 BC, the material now contained in chapters 25 through 29 was added to the book. The book of Proverbs is the classical example of the type of writing in the Old Testament known as wisdom literature. Other books like this include Job, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. These books are called wisdom writings because they are written by a distinctive group of people in Israel's history who grappled with some of the eternal questions of life. This type of writing flourished especially during Solomon's time, and he was known as the wisest of the wise throughout the ancient world. In 1 Kings chapter 40, we read in verse 30, "So that Solomon's wisdom surpassed all the wisdom of the people of the East and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all other men, and his fame was in all the surrounding nations." Israel's special contribution to the thinking of the wise men of all nations and time is that true wisdom is centered in respect and reverence for Yahweh. This is the great underlying theme of the book of Proverbs. Now let's talk a moment about the Psalms. You'll notice that there are different types of Psalms, and they'll speak to different needs in your life. And you'll want to begin to note as you read them through what they're about and what they speak to. For example, Psalm 77 will speak from the depths of your heart when you are in distress. It says, "I cried out to God for help. I cried out to God to hear me. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night, I stretched out untiring hands, and my soul refused to be comforted." Or consider Psalm 32, when you have sinned and your heart is breaking as you pray to the Lord in confession. David wrote it after his adultery with Bathsheba had been uncovered. Do you want to praise him? Praise him with Psalm 107. From there to the end of the book, there are pages and pages of praise. Soon your prayer life will include the Psalms. You may, like so many others, and I certainly would say it about myself, treasure this book above all others. Let's finish today by reading from Proverbs chapter 2, verse 1. "My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding. Yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding. If you seek it like silver and search for it as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of his saints."